Hi, welcome. Today we're going to do some chair yoga. I'll try to give lots of options. I would begin by having at least one chair, preferably without arms. If you have a chair with arms, that's okay. We can work around it. Having a second chair is also a good idea because there's some poses that we can actually use a second chair for. If you have a couple chairs, grab those, and either a yoga strap to help with some stretching, or if you don't have one of those, just grab a towel and we can absolutely use that instead. But let me get the music going and we will get started. Okay, so let's just begin by sitting up nice and tall, being supported in your chair. Let your palms just rest on your lap. Your head just up nice and tall, kind of not engaging muscles to sit up tall, but just utilizing a nice posture, and just let your eyes close. I'm just gonna pay attention to the breath here. Thinking about as you are inhaling, really letting, expanding through the belly. So kind of breathing in first to the belly, up through the chest and the collarbones. And then once you've filled up, sipped in all the air that you can, just breathing out kind of just in that same direction, starting with the collarbones, thinking about the breath leaving through the chest and then through the belly. Really letting that belly expand as you fill it up with air. Think about breathing in through the nose, sealing the mouth. Once you're full and you're ready to exhale, just opening the mouth and letting the air come out through the mouth. Just taking a few more breaths here just to kind of get grounded, relax, and be ready to start our practice. Maybe just one more inhale and exhale here. And after your next exhale, just let your eyes come open. We're going to continue to use our breath here. I feel like that music's a little bit loud. Might be better. We're going to use our breath here with this practice, really just focusing on the breath as we move and kind of using our own breath as our guide. So as I'm saying to do something on an inhale and something else on an exhale, use your own breath as your guide for how quickly you move between postures. So anyways, we're just going to sit up nice and tall again in our chair. Either you can have your palms resting on your lap to begin, or just down by your side. And on an inhale, we're going to take our arms up overhead, inhaling on the entire way up, and then exhaling the entire way down, just lowering our hands back down either to our lap or by our sides. We're going to stay here for just a little bit, really using our breath as our guide, inhaling our arms all the way up overhead, and exhaling our arms all the way back down by our sides. Your shoulders should remain nice and relaxed down away from your ears. during this movement. If you find yourself having to shrug your shoulders to get your arms up, then just that's where your body is telling you to stop with the movement. We'll do just a couple more here. One more time, inhaling our arms up. And now just kind of sitting back up nice and tall in case we found ourselves not doing so. We're going to do the same concept. We're just going to move our arms out to the sides instead. So this is kind of working on our breath, but also working on our shoulder mobility at the same time. I kind of like to multitask. So having your arms down by your side, or you can start here on your lap, but I think it's better if they're down by your side. Inhale your arms up overhead, out to the side, all the way up, and exhale your hands back down by your sides, exhaling all the way back down. And again, if you find yourself starting to shrug your shoulders at any point, that's just your body's natural way of telling you that that's as far as you should go in that pose. Let's do two more here with our arms out to the side. Last time, inhaling our arms up overhead. Exhaling our arms back down by our sides. We're going to continue with this the same concept of inhaling and exhaling, really using our breath as our guide. And now we're going to do some side bends, really opening up through the side body here. So let's inhale our arms up overhead. And exhaling, let's take one hand down, kind of holding on to the bottom of the chair. And let's just lean over, opening up through that side body. And then coming back up and inhaling our arm back up overhead. And exhaling, let's just lean over to the opposite side. Inhaling your arm back overhead. And exhaling as you bend over to a side. And again, here you're using your own breath as your guide, not necessarily moving exactly with me. Let's do one more time in each direction. And bringing your arms back down, kind of resting those arms on your lap for just a moment. We're going to do this same concept, but we are going to do just a gentle spinal twist. So we want to make sure that we're sitting up nice and tall, our shoulders are relaxed down away from our ears, and think about a string kind of coming up through your head and pulling your head up towards the ceiling. Your chin remains parallel to the ground. We're not looking up at the ceiling, just we're sitting up really nice and tall. Our spine is really elongated here. And so we're going to inhale again, our arms up overhead. But on an exhale, we're just going to take our hand on our knee, on the outside of the knee, the other hand kind of just using the back of the chair as support, and just kind of twisting our spine. On an inhale, we're going to come back to center. And on an exhale, we're just going to do the same thing to the other side, just using the outside of our knee as leverage and holding on to the back of the chair. Inhaling as we unwind. Exhaling as we twist. We're using our own breath as our guide here. This is not a deep twist. It's just a gentle twist of the spine. Remember, use your own breath as your guide. Using our breath as our guide in our practice just really brings our focus to our breath. Makes us just kind of put more thought into it. Makes our breathing slow down just a little. Our movements slow down just a little. Let's do one more time in each direction. And now let's do it again in each direction. But this time in the twist, let's just hold for a couple of breaths, maybe going a little bit deeper. Remembering to sit up nice and tall, really elongating that spine. Maybe this time you take your gaze out over that back shoulder, finding a nice stretch in the neck too. Unwinding, coming back to center, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, and we'll hold the twist on this side for just a few breaths. You hold your twist. I actually think I hear my computer telling me that it is getting low on battery, so I hate to do this, but I'm going to stop real quick and plug her in so we don't lose our video here. Sorry about that. Inhaling our arms back overhead as we unwind. And on an exhale, let's just kind of fold forward over our knees. Maybe we rest our forearms here on your lap. If it feels good, maybe you drop all the way down to the floor and let your fingertips just rest there on the floor. And pressing back up, use your hands on your legs to press back up, not using after we just release those muscles in the back. Let's avoid kind of activating those and letting them work to push ourselves up. We'll just push ourselves up with our hands. Now let's we've warmed up our spine really good. Let's warm up the shoulders maybe a little bit. So let's just do some shoulder circles. Let's take the fingertips on the shoulders. I like to do my shoulder circles this way, thinking about moving the elbows in a nice big circle. So let's just go forward here, thinking about a nice big circle, range of motion here. We'll do just a few going forward. And then let's reverse those circles, nice big circles. Fill in the pops and cracks in the shoulders. That's okay. And coming back to stillness, let's just maybe do a little bit of ankle roll. So just taking your foot out in front of you, just rolling the foot, thinking about, again, nice big circles here, getting the pops and cracks out of the ankles. And let's move that foot in the opposite direction, nice big circles. And bringing that foot down, let's just do the same thing on the other side. And bringing that foot back down here. And let's do some cats and cows. So placing your hands on your lap or even on your knee. Inhaling as you Just hinge forward, thinking about using your knees as leverage, really opening up through the chest and taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, really rounding through that back. That's cat, kind of like an angry cat, thinking about really rounding the back. Inhaling forward, gazing up, opening through the chest into cow. Exhaling, rounding the back, taking the chin down towards the chest. Let's do just a few more here, using your own breath as your guide. Inhaling into cow and exhaling as you round into cat. Let's do just one more in each direction. Coming back to center. Let's do maybe a little bit of core work. So this is a really nice exercise that you can do from a chair. It's basically like doing your typical abdominal crunch, only you just don't have to get down on the floor. But it still works that whole abdominal section there. So sitting up nice and tall, resting your hands on your lap. We're actually going to, I actually like to hold one hand on my belly when I do this. So exhaling as you lift that leg off the floor, using your own hand to press against your leg there, thinking about really engaging your core is doing the lifting here. And coming back down. So let's stay on one side, exhaling as we lift the leg, really engaging through the core. Inhaling as we lower that leg back down. We'll do a few on this side and then we'll move to the other side. Again, you're using your own breath as your guide. You're exhaling as you engage and you're inhaling as you lower. Let's do one more on this side. And just switching hands, we're going to take our opposite hand down onto our leg and our opposite hand on our belly, sitting up nice and tall, exhaling as we lift that leg, really pressing against it, inhaling as we lower. Let's do two more on this side. And this is where that second chair will come in handy. We have a couple of options here. We're going to do a downward facing dog in our chair. So if you have the second chair, first I'll show you the standing option. You can stand up, you can come behind your chair. Let me turn it this way so you can see a little bit better. The important thing is having your hips over your ankles, and we're just going to kind of fold down, really stretching out long, staying strong through the shoulders. So that's how you do this standing up using the chair. If you want to sit down using the chair, let's see here. You're just going to sit up and have that other chair in front of you. And the goal is to kind of you want to keep your arms long and tall and just lean forward, really staying strong though through the shoulders. You should be feeling a nice stretch down the whole back side of the body here. We'll hang out here in this downward facing dog for just a moment, whichever option you chose to do. And coming back up, let me turn my chair back around here. Okay, so So we are actually going to, we're going to do just a little bit of a flow. So we're going to find ourselves in a warrior position on our chair. So let me kind of demonstrate to you what that looks like. You're going to turn to the side in your chair with one side, one cheek supported on the chair, and the other side is actually going to be hanging off, but you're going to use your chair to hold on to, so we don't want anyone falling here. But we are going to kind of open up into a warrior. If it feels good, you can put your foot flat on the floor at about a 45-degree angle, kind of opening up. Think about opening up to the front of the room, so you're really feeling a nice stretch here down the whole inside, kind of the pant seam of the legs. If that does not feel good, then you're just going to keep that, you're going to keep yourself facing the side of the room. And your leg can be back here. It can absolutely be up here. You should be feeling a nice stretch, regardless of which way you're doing this. You should be feeling a nice stretch down the whole front and inner pant seam of that extended leg, and even the inner pant seam here of this bent leg. We're going to find ourselves in a warrior two. So our arms are extended out long. You can gaze out over those front fingertips. And we're going to use our breath here as our guide again. We're gonna, on an inhale, we'll flip that front palm up and just kind of lean back. This is called revolving our warrior. And then on an exhale, we're gonna come back up, place our arm on our front leg, and just raise that arm up kind of by our ear. And again here, we're gonna be here for a few different reps, so you can kind of play around with this. Inhaling as you kind of lean back and revolve that warrior, really opening up through that side body. And exhaling, side angle, opening up through this side body. Use your own breath as your guide as you inhale and kind of lean back to revolve, and exhale, come forward into side angle. We'll do just a couple more. Remember, if this does not feel good to you, you can absolutely be just kind of hanging out right here, just enjoying that nice stretch in the front of that leg. You can kind of play around with the body on the moving forward and backwards, just using your own breath as your guide. This is your practice. So let's just kind of round this out, inhaling as we revolve that warrior, and exhaling into side angle. Let's come back up, slowly bring that leg back in, coming back to center. Before we move to the other side, just kind of taking a moment to just take note of how the bottom half of your body feels from that little bit of opening. I kind of like to take just a moment just to observe. So we are going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So just coming, facing the side in our chair. One leg and one cheek is fully supported, and the other one, we're just gonna let that leg come down. We'll slowly move into this. If that's as far as you could go, that's just fine. This is a nice stretch for the whole front of that leg. And again, you can kind of play around with inhaling as you go back and exhaling as you come forward. That is totally fine. You have to listen to your own body. If it does feel good, you can lower that heel down. Your foot's at about a 45-degree angle, kind of opening up to the front of the room and extending your arms out long. This is warrior two. We'll just kind of stay here, make sure everybody gets into their preferred position. And on an inhale, you're going to flip that front palm up and revolve your warrior. And on an exhale, you're going to come forward onto that front leg, bringing your arm up towards your ear. Again, using your own breath as your guide here, inhaling as you revolve, and exhaling into side angle. maybe 2 more in each direction. And once you've completed that, just coming back to center, slowly moving that leg in. I'm going to show you how to use the chair for a child's pose. So I'll turn to the side here just so you can see better. If you have that second chair, that will come in handy here. If not, if you don't have a second chair, I think you're just kind of bringing yourself in, hanging out over your legs. It's not really a forward fold, but you're kind of slightly supported here. But if you do have your chair, you're just going to place your arms here on the seat of that chair in front of you. Just let your head rest on the chair and just hang out there for a moment. We're gonna this child's pose is a nice pose to recover. Those warriors probably got the blood pumping a little bit, and we're just gonna kind of come back to the breath. We'll hang out here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, we'll just push back up into a seated position. I'm going to turn my chair back around here. And we're just going to do a little bit of some gentle stretching to kind of end our practice here. So this is where that yoga strap, if you have one, will come in handy. So I'll show you what we're going to do with the strap, and then I'll show you how to use the towel if you don't happen to have a strap. We're going to just extend that, we're going to wrap the strap or the towel around the bottom of the foot, and kind of using our upper body strength while we sit up tall, just kind of pulling that leg up in front of us, feeling a nice stretch down the back side of that leg. And if it feels good, hinging forward from the hips, really just increasing that stretch you feel down the back of the leg. If you do not have a strap, that's where this towel is going to come in handy. Same thing, you're just going to wrap the towel around the bottom of your foot and hold that up in front of you. And if it feels good, hinge forward. That's not going to feel good for everybody. So if that hurts, or if it just doesn't feel good, then stop and just sit up nice and tall. Think about using that strap to really pull back on the foot, just to flex it, and think about bringing those toes back towards your face. That just increases the stretch. I can feel that all the way down through my Achilles and actually on into my foot. All right, and then when you come back up, let's keep hold of that strap or that towel, and let's just take the leg out to the side, feeling a nice stretch on the inner thigh here. Again, our foot is flexed, toes are kind of coming back towards our face. We'll hold that there for just a few breaths. And then let's bring it back to center. And now we're going to do a seated pigeon. So we're just going to use that strap to help us get our ankle up onto our knee if that feels good. If that does not feel good to your knee, if you are feeling any pressure in your knee whatsoever, I want you to remove that foot, just kind of open your foot onto the side, and maybe use your hand to just kind of encourage that knee out to the side. We're looking for a nice stretch in our hips here. We should not feel this in our knees. So if this is feeling good, maybe you try to just hinge over just slightly, just increasing that stretch in the hip on that top leg. And if your foot is on the floor on the side, you can also hinge forward slightly here, and that will also increase that stretch as well. Let's press ourselves back up. Let's use that strap to just put that foot back down on the floor. And maybe again here, we take just a moment to just observe. Think about the difference in how that leg that you were just, the leg that has the strap over the foot right now, just take a moment to observe how that leg feels in comparison to the other one. Mine, I definitely notice a lot more openness in that leg. With that being said, we are going to do the same thing on the other side. So just take your strap or your towel, wrap it around the bottom of that, the other foot, sitting up nice and tall. Let's just use our arm strength and lift that leg straight out in front of us. If another option here, if that's too much on, like, if you have any kind of arm injuries, or if this is just not feeling good for you with your upper body using that strength, you can absolutely put a chair in front of yourself and just let the back of your foot rest on that chair. It's another option. I like to think of good options. If this is feeling good, feel free to hinge forward, just increasing that stretch. Remember, each side of our body is different. Everyone's sides of their body are different. So what felt good on one side doesn't necessarily feel good on the other side. Don't judge yourself. This should feel good. Like a little bit of work, but it should feel good. And then coming back up, let's take that leg out to the side. Feeling a nice stretch on the inner thigh. And again, this is especially where having that chair to the side actually could feel really good, to not have to use your arms to hold that leg up. We'll hold that there for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to bring that leg back around, and same thing as on the other side, we're going to use this strap to bring our ankle up onto our knees. If this does not feel good, if you're feeling this in your knee, remember that option of just putting your foot down by your other foot and kind of opening up that knee. That brings to mind, though, another thought. You absolutely can do this seated pigeon pose using a chair, that second chair in front of you, and just putting your foot up onto there and opening up that hip. So if you're feeling pressure in your knee, by putting it directly on your other knee, try this option too. That might feel better. We're gonna hang out here. Maybe it feels good to hinge forward slightly, really opening up that hip. Coming back up, use your strap to bring your foot back down to the floor. Remove that strap. Let's do just one more forward fold here, just to kind of open up through the lower back. So maybe it feels good to just lean forward and support ourselves on our legs. Maybe it feels good to spread your legs a little bit wider and even come down, letting the head be heavy, letting the hands rest on the floor, feeling a nice opening in the lower back and a nice stretch down the back side of the legs. Now, using our hands to press ourselves back up to a seated position, I'm just going to change the music here. We're going to set ourselves up for Savasana. So sitting up tall but relaxed and supported by the back of the chair, really leaning into the back of the chair. Your shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears. Your palms are resting on your lap. You're resting here. Just let your eyes close. I'm going to read just a little meditation. bring your attention to the muscles of your face. Gently tighten the muscles, squeezing your eyes tightly shut, tightening your jaw, pursing your lips. Breathe in through your nose. And when you exhale, just think about relaxing the muscles of your face as you breathe out through your mouth. Become aware of your whole body resting here. Take just a moment to notice the effect of the work you did today. Maybe you notice any place in your body where it feels like you did something strong, and notice any place where it feels like you built some stability. Maybe you increase the circulation. Take just a moment right now to just recognize the strength of your body and recognize the strength of your mind, the strength of your focus. And move your attention through your body, noticing any place where it feels like you really stretched it out, kind of opened up some space, maybe even relaxed a little tension. Take a moment to recognize the space that you created in your body and the space that you created in the day, the time that you allowed yourself to practice today. And become aware of your whole body, really resting here and just relaxing into the stillness. Let your body rest here, feeling totally supported and at ease, and just softening any tension that maybe you still hold. Just notice the nice, easy flow of your inhales and your exhales. Every time you inhale, bringing in all the air that you need. And every time you exhale, letting that exhale be long and smooth and even. Let your breathing just feel easy here as you continue to let your body rest. And let your breaths just move in and out however you need. Let's stay here for a few breaths, letting our eyes be closed, letting our bodies relax, letting our bodies just be supported by the chair beneath us. When you're ready, start to bring gentle movements back to the body. You wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Maybe stretching the legs out long, stretching the arms up overhead, kind of a nice good morning stretch. Maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles. Opening the eyes. Let's take one more final nice big inhale together. Inhaling your arms up overhead. This time, as we exhale, let's bring our hands to heart center. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and practicing some chair yoga. I hope that this practice brought you openness, brought you peace, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.